Welcome to Numina, the only place that's reverse engineered the College Board. We're going to show you how to solve these problems very quickly with mathematical precision and with 100% confidence. That means you no longer have to rely on the answer key, but purely on the power of your knowledge. The mind is a powerful tool, and we're going to show you how to use it. Here's how it's done.
Here we are with question 30. Remember, for paragraph improvement questions, you're going to look for errors in grammar, logical transition, and coherence. Let's take a look at question 30. What must be done to sentence 3? Well, let's go back and take a look at sentence 3 as underlined to the left. Governed by the Antarctic Treaty, written in 1959 and adopted in 1961, which has been signed by 27 countries. By the looks of things, sentence 3 is a fragment. So we're looking for an answer choice that will correct this fragment. Okay, so let's go to the choices. In A, it is suggested that we combine it with sentence 2, putting a comma after research. Well, if we followed this suggestion, the sentence would read, the nations of the world agreed, some of them reluctantly, that all countries would share the continent for the purposes of scientific research, governed by the Antarctic Treaty, written in 1959, adopted in 1961, which has been signed by 27 countries. Here, there are no improvements to the sentence. Sentence 3 becomes a modifier to the nations in sentence 2. The nations are incorrectly taking on the past participle modifier governed by the Antarctic Treaty, when in fact it is Antarctica that is governed by the treaty, not the nations. So A cannot be our answer. Now let's look at choice B. Begin it with the words Antarctica is. If we include Antarctica is into our sentence, it would read as follows. Antarctica is governed by the Antarctic Treaty, written in 1959 and adopted in 1961, which has been signed by 27 countries. Here we add a desperately needed subject and verb. Previously, if you remember, we stated that the sentence as is was a fragment. Well, now it has a subject and a verb, which will make it a complete sentence. So B looks good. Let's keep B for now and check our other choices. In choice C, we're asked to replace the comma after 1961 with a semicolon. If we were to do that, the sentence would read, governed by the Antarctic Treaty, written in 1959 and adopted in 1961, semicolon, which has been signed by 27 countries. Here we have an error. We actually have two errors. The first being that we will still have a fragment. The fragment issue has not been addressed with any of with the replacement of the comma after 1961, with a semicolon, sorry. And adding the semicolon separates which from the previous part of the sentence, or not even a full sentence, and which has nothing to modify. So we have a problem here. It's a modifier error. We have a fragment. Bottom line, C cannot be our answer either. But what about D? Well, D says, place the words it was before written. If we read the sentence with the corrections, it would read, governed by the Antarctic Treaty, it was written in 1959 and adopted in 1961, which has been signed by 27 countries. Here, I notice that as written, the past participle phrase governed by the Antarctic Treaty modifies it, but it is unclear what it is. It seems that it is referring to the treaty, but it would not make logical sense for a treaty to govern itself. Interesting. And wrong. And lastly, for choice E, change 1961, comma, which to 1961, period, it. Your sentence would read, governed by the Antarctic Treaty, written in 1959 and adopted in 1961, it had been signed by 27 countries. Here we're still presented with a fragment, but the fragment appears before the period. We're missing a subject and a verb. So E cannot be our answer. Well, now we're just left with our answer. B. By adding Antarctica is, we add the missing subject and verb that we're looking for, that we couldn't find in any of the choices. So our answer is B.
Numina, empowering minds.